Hello guys, and welcome back to another deck tech review. I'm Chris with Team Magikarp, and this is going to be my Ho-Oh Huntail deck that I used a couple weeks back to get second place at an 8-man tournament. This deck is really good. It struggles a little bit against Mega EXs just because they have such a high HP count, but other than that, this deck it's very consistent. It does the job well. So starting out, we have the main engine in the deck, and that's going to be the Ho-Oh EX with my absolute favorite EX forward in the game, which is this beautiful Ho-Oh. If anybody's got any extras they want to downgrade theirs too, so I can have them, I've got these to trade and we can throw some extras in. But anyway, let's get back to the deck. This guy is the engine that runs the deck. You're going to battle compressor him into your discard pile. You're going to battle compressor in your energy, and then you're going to use his ability Rebirth. And what Rebirth lets you do is you flip a coin. If you get heads, you're going to remove him from your discard pile, put him on your bench, and you're going to bring 3 energies with him. They've got to be 3 different energies, but that's not hard to do in this deck. Next, one of the most popular decks in Expanded right now is Virizion Genesect, and this guy absolutely destroys that deck. Both their main Pokemon are weak to fire. This guy just needs 4 energies on him, and he's hitting them for 200 damage. They're not going to be able to withstand that very long. And if they manage to knock him out, because he does have 160 HP, which is a little bit lower than most of the normal EXs outside of Jirachi and Shaman and a few others. But if they manage to knock him out, you're just going to bring him back with Rebirth. And they're going to have to do that 3 times, and they pretty much have to two-hit knockout him. And you're taking 1 knockout on them each time. So keep that in mind when you're playing this deck. It's really good, especially if your metagame is a lot of Virizion Genesect. Next, we have a guy who's actually weak to grass, but that's alright. That is our Clamperl into our HoOh, or not HoOh, but Huntail line. We've got the ability, or attack rather, Powerful Storm, which does 20 damage for every energy on your side of the field. Now with Ho-Oh, we're bringing back a lot of energies. We're counting the energy that we place there, and then throughout the game, if we draw energies that we can't discard, we'll just place them on Ho-Oh, or set up another Huntail on the bench, and that adds more damage to it. This guy can pretty much knock out any EX. It don't take too many energies out to do that. He can knock out anything that isn't an EX. A lot of decks run Muscle Band and stuff like that. I prefer to run just a Silver Bangle, but I can't remember in this deck if I'd done that or not. We kind of mess around with things, but I kind of feel that if this guy can knock out anything that isn't an EX on his own, there's no point of putting the Muscle Band in there, even though you can use it on the Ho-Oh. But I'd prefer just to have the Silver Bangle, because the extra 10 damage can actually make a big difference, especially when we're trying to take down, say, a Mega EX, which is really hard to do with this. It's hard to do over 200 damage consistently. It's not impossible. The deck can do it quite regularly, but it's a real struggle to get there. And when they're knocking these guys out, and your Ho-Ohs can't do enough damage to knock things out as well, it's just a losing battle. Your Ho-Ohs are also really vulnerable to Seismitoad, which is also the other very popular deck in Expanded. We'll have to see what exactly happens with that deck now that Trump card's being banned. Trump card being banned actually is a big boost to this deck. A couple of our only 2 supporter Pokemon that we got in here. We have Mr. Mime, because there are things that attack the bench like Landorus and stuff. I actually done pretty good against Taylor when he played this deck when I had my Landorus batch, just by being able to take out his Clamperls real early. It took a lot to do it. He still ended up winning the match. Just the weakness to water is a big deal, but if you can keep their Clamperls off the table, it really helps big time in the matchup, because the Ho-Ohs, while they can do quite a bit of damage, they can't do as much as the Huntail's going to be able to do. So Mr. Mime, he's going to protect you with that. If not, you can just discard him. The next card, this guy's in just about every deck with good reason. Stellar Guidance is well worth giving up 2 prizes to. I mean, because if you're not drawing a supporter, if you're not drawing cards in this game, you're losing. That's just how this game works. The turn that you don't draw cards or you don't play a supporter that does something that impacts the game, you're immediately in a bad spot and you're starting to lose the game. And it's really hard to get back into it. But Stellar Guidance here can be used to either get you set up at the beginning of the game or late game, or not Jirachi, but a Lysander for their Jirachi, or you know, an in when you're behind in the prize game. All those things. So both these guys, they're role players. They know what they're supposed to do, and they do it well. Couple of stadiums that we have in here, because Silent Lab can hurt you if they play it down first. So we've got the Tropical Beach, so you can go ahead and get set up, especially if you go first, and fill your hand back up. And then we also have the Skyroll Bridge, just to lower those retreat costs. It's pretty self-explanatory. This one, you need to be leery about this one, because it helps Virizion and Genesect out a lot. But they've got their own. But I don't like to give them any extra help. I'd rather them have to waste their Skyline and go find it. Let's see, supporters. We've got the standard 4N. This is hands down one of the best disruption spells that we have. Actually, it is the best disruption spells. It's no kind of best. It is the best. This card is either your best friend or your worst enemy. He's either winning you the game or you're losing because somebody else played it. I absolutely love this card, and Standard's just not going to be the same without it. It'll be interesting to see what happens. They may print another copy of it as something else, so never know. Next we got our Standard 4 Junipers. Pretty simple. Draw 7 cards. Every deck needs these. I've seen a couple of decks where you want to go down to like 3, but in this deck we just want to plow through the deck as quick as possible. 4 lets us do that, so that's what we're going to do. We're just going to draw cards and bring back Ho-Ohs. We've got a Collaris. We don't really build up our bench as much with this deck. You'll get out the Ho-Ohs, but that's about it. Usually don't want a lot of them out at the same time because you won't have enough energies to bring them back. And if you're able to get out a bunch of them, that means you've got a lot of your water energy in your discard pile, which is bad because now you can't attack with Ho-Oh. So you need to kind of be a little bit conservative with what you're bringing back and what you're setting up on your bench. And because we're trying to limit all the easier knockouts that both Ho-Oh, or not Ho-Oh, but Huntail and Jirachi will lead to. We kind of don't want that out as much, so we don't only want Collaris. But you also have VS Seeker to bring it back, so you can take advantage, especially if your opponent's playing like Skyfield or something. Which interesting thing that I've done with Skyfield out is you can, if you happen to start with like your Ho-Ohs or something, you can go ahead and stack your bench with as much stuff as you can, and then play down one of your stadiums and discard the Ho-Ohs that you started the game with that don't have energy on them or something like that. We have Skyla here just to go get something we might need. It's a good answer to anything that might come up, especially if you need like a switch card or one of your stadiums. We've got the 2 Lysander. This is pretty standard. You need to take stuff off the bench. Lysander wins games. That's how the game's played now. Lysander is he's your end card. This is what you're using to win games with. We've got an answer to everything card here in our computer search. So whatever we need, we're going to go get. It also allows us to get our Huntails or energies and things like that in the discard. Or not our Huntails. Ho-Ohs. Man, we got too many H's in this deck. We've got the Tool Scrapper because we don't need to get locked down by Garbodor. That's the worst thing that can happen, is if we can't get our Ho-Ohs back, we're going to lose. So that takes care of that guy. And with Wally now, it's possible that they can get Garbodor out in the first turn. So we definitely need that. Next up, we've got some switches. Got to get those guys out of the active when they're poisoned, when they're asleep, things like that. This card, it does its job, and it does its job well. It kind of sucks when you're toad locked, but man, life in general sucks when you're toad locked. We've got 4 Ultra Balls. Ultra Ball is going to let you go get your Huntails, get them set up. You can go grab your Ho-Oh if you've got a way to discard it, things like that. These are really good for getting your Ho-Ohs and your energies into the discard pile. Ultra Ball has just been one of those just great cards that they've made that does everything. It can either fuel your deck or make your deck consistent, just different things like that. And in this deck, it provides both consistency and fuel, and it's just a great card to have. Let's see, VS Seeker. We're going to run 4 of them because, like I said before, we are just plowing through the deck as fast as we can. And when you're doing that, you're going to be discarding a lot of stuff. And since we don't have Lysander's trump card anymore, and I didn't play it in this deck anyway because everybody else was running them, I just let them help me if things got to the point where I needed stuff back. But this is going to get back your Lysanders. It's going to get back your Junipers. Anything you need, it's coming back with this guy. And this card is insane, but if you're playing the game, you already know that. Like I said before, I don't prefer to run Muscle Band in a deck where the Huntail can knock out anything that is an EX. This gives so much more, damage output than the Muscle Band. Even if it's just 10, it makes a big difference because you have a lot of like 170. You can get a lot of even numbers, but it's that odd number that throws you off, and this helps you get over the hump real easy. And you shouldn't have any problem taking out non-EXs with Huntail. Like I said before, Ho-Oh, Battle Compressor, that is the engine. This will get you set up later in the game. When you draw one of these, you can get rid of stuff that you don't want to draw anymore. But mostly you're going to be just finding your energies and your Huntails with this. You can get like a Lysander if you got your VS Seeker, or if you don't have a supporter, you can use this, get it, and VS Seeker back what you need. Now, as far as energies go, we run 1 of each different kind of energies. One day they will make a Call of Legends, one of these, I hope. I doubt it, but come on, Pokemon, give me one of those. That's what I need. So we've got these, and you're going to get those. Those are the ones you want on your Ho-Ohs because you run very few water energies, and the problem becomes if some of these get prized, then you're stuck having to use these, and these are what power up your attacker. So you want to avoid getting these into this card as much as you can. You're going to need 1 or 2 in there just for the Ho-Ohs to even everything out, but for the most part, you want to keep this out of there. Like I said, I got second place with this deck. I went 2-0-1. The person that got first place also went 2-0-1. The computer liked her better, so she got it. But no, I'm just kidding. She earned it. She took me to the wire in the first game. It was the first game that we played, and she had Mega Evolutions in her deck, and there was just no way that I could get enough damage out there before she could knock out my Huntails. And then my Ho-Ohs were also weak to water, so they were slim pickings. So everything was set up against me, and I lost game 1, managed to win game 2, and then we had like 3 minutes left for the last game, and we shuffled up and put stuff out, but that's about it. It was over. So if you want to play something in the expanded format, this is a great deck to play. It's not very expensive. You don't need all the full arts or anything like that. And like I said, it has a really great matchup against Rizzi Genesect, and that's popular with a lot of players just because it's a deck they already had from Standard. So if you want to pick up a deck to play, I suggest Ho-Oh Huntail. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.